Okay, this is CodeX Report number 13. Lucky number 13. Someday I'm going to do a thing on numbers and I'll go into a little bit of that with you guys. It's 4/4, April 4th on 2011. It's about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to talk to you about Fukushima. Um, the news coming out of Fukushima just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. The more you hear, the worse it is. And I don't know what the deal is, but the government is now not the okay. Okay, let me go back here. Berkeley was testing the rainwater. This came out yesterday. They tested the rainwater and the tap water, and it came out that it was 180 times the safe allowable limit. But it's not a problem, you know. It's just going to cause cancer and birth defects and random genetic mutations and it's just gonna be great. It's gonna be wonderful. But yeah, so they've already tested. It's in the grass and has been tested in the air in Illinois. It's been found, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. They just tested it in milk in Washington, and they said, it's so many times below where you need to be worried about it. But honestly, they have lied so many times that we cannot trust them on anything that they say. Um, go search on the public access radiation nets, RadNet or some of those other ones. Jeff Rentz has got a couple links on his page to some. Um, it's when this first happened, I was extremely pissed off and upset. And like Cliff High said in his article, just deal with it. They've killed us, and they're saying that the radiation levels in the water 40 kilometers out to sea is 4,000 times the legal allowable limit. And if you don't believe me, just Google Greenpeace. Um, Greenpeace measures radiation 40 kilometers to sea, and you'll find the article. Go look at Infowars. I'm sure he's got it linked up there. I think it's off of the main page. You're gonna have to look at the archived main articles. But they've had, like, for 2 weeks now, they've had neutron beams being seen out of the top of this reactor. And if someone can get me a film of one of those or send me a link to a film, that would be fantastic. Um, Supposedly, it's so bright that you can even see it during the day now. I don't know about that, but if you can see it at night, even that's a ridiculous amount of radiation being put into the atmosphere. The radiation effects are going to go on for years and years and years. I mean, we're still dealing with Chernobyl. Um, the I just looked at the IAEA page, Fukushima nuclear update page. Um, they said that 5 and 6 are completely shut down and they are in cold shutdown circulating water, which is good as far as it goes. But they now have actually hooked up circulating water in 1, 2, and 3. But now they're dealing with the fact that number 1 has for sure a crack running down the side of the containment, and I think, or it might have been 2. Anyway, there's 2 of them now that I'm pretty sure they've announced that they have um, cracks in the containment in the reactor. And again, it comes down to the fact that they have lied so many times over the course of this whole disaster and fiasco of trying to deal with The reactors, they're lost. They literally they're just fumbling around in the dark trying to figure out what they're doing. I mentioned this idea the other day, and honestly, I think it's probably one of the only things that is really gonna be able to be effective. And I don't know how they're really gonna be able to go about doing it. But they're gonna have to do something, and it's a geodesic dome to put over the entire reactor. And is that going to stop all the radiation? No, it's not. But is it going to help? Yes. It's something that needs to be done. They finally started spraying the sticky resin to stick the particles to the ground, and it took them 2 weeks to do that. So um, the evacuation is still um, just at 20 kilometers. They've now at 40 kilometers north of Fukushima. They have measured 4.5 microsieverts per hour in the soil contamination. Um, that may not sound like a lot, but the, it's cumulative. It adds up over time. And the thing is that if they don't cover these reactors, it's going to keep getting more and more and more because there's more radiation coming out, and it's going to fall on the ground surrounding that area. It's going to get carried by the wind and eventually precipitate out in the rain. And that's the problem that we're having in California here. You know, they everybody is lying about this. They're not telling you the truth. And to get the truth, you need to go to rents.com. You need to go to Infowars. You need to check out everything that you can find from reliable sources. And honestly, the IAEA, I don't really trust them necessarily, but if they can show some verification, then I'll trust them as far as what I can prove by other sources. So as far as that goes, that's where that's at. Um, Fucking Obama needs to get off his ass and offer some assets to go and help over there. Like I said, the geodesic dome. There needs to be something done to prevent this radiation from continually spewing into the atmosphere. I mean, realistically, you need a dome that's 150 feet tall and 300 feet across. 300 feet in diameter and 150 feet tall. I'm guessing would probably cover each one of those reactors. Now, the other thing that you're going to have to deal with is you're going to have to put some kind of shielding on it. So you're going to have to use, lead or gold or something that is going to be impenetrable or opaque to the radiation. Um, as far as venting the heat and everything else, I mean, they're going to have to set up fans with a filter system. Honestly, and then it's going to be so radioactive inside there that I don't know what they're going to be able to do. It's just a horrible, horrible situation. There's not much they can do. They have figured out where the water is leaking into the sea. They tried pouring cement in there, that didn't work. They tried um, shredded newspapers, and I mean, this is like the same fiasco with the BP oil spill. Where they tried like 6 different things before they found anything that would even halfway work. And honestly, I don't even think it's worked at all because all it did is back up the pressure and force the pressure into all the fault lines and cracks in the seafloor in that entire area, most likely for hundreds of miles around. Um, to people in Japan, you know, um, you're going to have to do some serious thinking. You're going to have to either decide to stay there and possibly get nasty, serious cancers and probably die, or leave. And I don't really have any ideas for where to go if you're going to leave. United States is much better. I would personally recommend maybe Australia or South America. Um, I personally think the radiation is going to have a hard time getting over the equator into the southern hemisphere. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Um, on the topic of Fukushima, there was a um, very large CME or solar flare today. I'm guessing it's about 2 to 3 days before that hits the Earth. We may be looking at another window for a another event here. It's the 4th today, so um, another 3 days would be the 7th. So possibly Thursday or Friday if there's going to be something happening from that, but I don't know how that is interacting with the moon phases because I know the moon phase has a lot to do with that. So, um, yeah, I really haven't heard any other good ideas on how to deal with the Fukushima. There there are ideas on what to do with it, but um, they're all pretty much a stopgap. Let's you know it's not an overall solve the situation type answer. It's like, okay, we have, and granted this has to be done. The first thing is, how do we stop the leaks? What do we do with the water? How do we get fresh water into the reactors? How do we all this stuff has to be done. And I understand that you can't just jump 6 steps ahead to try and solve the problem before you have secured the um, the other elements of the situation. But I think the situation is so bad right now that, except for the fact of the water running into the ocean, I think the main thing that needs to be done is there needs to be some type of a cover or a dome, like I said, a geodesic dome or something that is radiation opaque needs to be placed over those reactors. Um, I Good luck to everybody in Japan. Good luck, and get out of there, because if you wait for the government to tell you to leave, it's it may not happen. You may end up sitting there and dying from cancer before they ever get off their ass and tell you that it's dangerous. So go and watch the videos on Chernobyl and just remember that it's it's not one Chernobyl that we're dealing with. Basically what we have is two Chernobyls and one completely self-destructed MOX reactor. And if you don't believe that that's what happened, you go and look at some of the videos from the close-ups of looking down into the reactor number 3. It's ridiculous. So I'm going to close this one out. I'm going to do another one on Libya and Ivory Coast and that stuff. So peace. God bless everybody in Japan. Strength. Luck to you guys. Get out of there before it's too late.